Oh no. I woke up this morning and I can feel it. I can feel a little bit of something happening right in here. It hasn't gone to here yet, but I can feel that I am not exactly my best today. I'm gonna take you guys along with me and kind of show you what I'm gonna do to help support my body. And of course, using all of our wonderful herbs that we have in the apothecary, maybe even some outside, depending on what's in these jars. But welcome back to the Honeystead. My name is Kaylee. And I think the ragweed, the season change, a little bit of the mold with the damp, all the things that are happening, leaves are starting to fall. And I don't want to fall. I've got a lot going on. So join me in the apothecary. I'm gonna show you what I do to support my health today and probably for the rest of the week. Come on. So I have a little bit of thyme that's dried. I went ahead and harvested it and went ahead and dried it, but I'm gonna go walk over and also see if I have anything that's fresh that is growing in my mom's garden, which she's not here with me today. She's taking care of some of our family members, and so that's why you haven't seen her. We, again, wear many, many hats, but yeah, so there's that. But I'm gonna go sneak into her garden really quick. I don't think she's going to mind, and see what she has in there. I know she has some sage that I can probably snag, but she may have some thyme and possibly even some oregano. So let's head over there. What you doing, buddy? Hi, buddy. You gonna come help me? Come on. Hi, Macy. Hi, sweet girl. Hi, sweet girl. She's got a little bit of sage that I'm just gonna grab a few, not too many. While I'm up here, I figured let me go ahead and get a steam pot made. You're gonna take your water, you're gonna fill it up in your pot, you're going to get it up to a boil, and then you're gonna add your herbs into it. I'm adding in a little bit of thyme and some sage to the steam pot. Not only is it gonna help add a little bit of moisture, so blowing my nose, all of that, I don't want it to be irritated. So adding in just that little moisture will help. And then the antimicrobial properties as well. And then I'm also gonna add in some peppermint, which is very soothing, as well as eucalyptus. This will stay on the pot for 10-15 minutes. I'm not gonna overly cook it, but it's going to help freshen up my room, freshen up my house. I'm also gonna take some of this down to my house later today and do this again. I'll do this probably twice a day for the next couple of days, just to make sure, that I'm supporting my body, helping if I am catching something. This is gonna give me a little bit of the boost. There are some other things that we're gonna do. Oh my gosh, I sat here for just probably 5 minutes with a towel, a little tea towel over my head, and just breathed in the thyme, the sage, the eucalyptus, the peppermint. And I didn't end up having any essential oil. So I just added more herb than what I would normally. And I can tell you already, I can breathe. But I did do one more thing that I wanted to to trial because I didn't have, since I didn't have the essential oil, I have my Propolis tincture. And I added a heavy dose, a heavy amount of the Propolis. Now, I do talk a lot about Propolis as a beekeeper, you know, and how wonderful Propolis is. It's antimicrobial, it's antifungal. And the honeybees, well, they are the original herbalists. I share a lot about that in my book. But I was like, you know, let's add some to this. And I am blown away because not only does the steam pot open up your respiratory, but just adding in the herbs that are antimicrobial and then now adding in the Propolis, like, oh my goodness, what a game changer. I can smell the Propolis in it, which, I mean, this is made from all the plants that are around, from what the bees gather. So, like, this is kind of a game changer for me, but I can already feel so much more relief. I turned the steam pot off. I had it up to boil. I added all the herbs in, but I am just like, oh my gosh, like I feel so much better. I had a little bit of pressure and it's already like subsiding. I'm gonna do some more work up here, but as I'm up here in this small little space, I'm gonna go ahead and turn this on low to keep it kind of going. But I am just, how amazing, you know? Like, we are truly given absolutely everything to support our body. It's just going out and grabbing the herbs or, you know, harvesting the Propolis from the bees, and then just simple as that. Put it in a pot, put a towel over it, and breathe in. Like, this whole apothecary smells amazing, and I can breathe. I can breathe. I'm definitely excited to take that recipe and make some note on it. I have done sage, I've done thyme, I added the peppermint and eucalyptus, but I've never added the Propolis into it, and I am just blown away. Like, my whole apothecary smells just like that. And I'm like, y'all, you have no idea. Now, I'm gonna be taking a lot of these recipes and I'm sharing it in a community that my beautiful friend Jill and I created called Willow and Hive. And in this community, Jill and I are pouring into everyone. I mean, we are offering all of our courses that she's done with fermenting and with sourdough, the home apothecary course, and her and I are also sharing 2 private in-depth videos a month, one from her, one from me, and then we're also going live. Now, I will put the Willow and Hive link down below if you guys are interested, but all of the recipes that I'm going to be talking about are going to be put together there. But for that recipe, I essentially just took about a half a cup roughly of the eucalyptus, of the peppermint, a handful of sage, and a handful of dried thyme. You can use fresh thyme. You put it in your pot of water, bring it up to a boil, add your herbs in, and then if you have Propolis, I would add a good bit in there, and I just sat. And right now it is just over there doing its thing, and this whole room smells amazing. So yes, that is by far something that I am just like blown away. But there are other things that I have done, and I wanted to show you guys this because I've talked a lot about mullein, which is a wonderful plant that we have growing out here. I mainly use the flowers and the leaves. I'll use the flowers and infuse it into an oil. I've used it as you know, an eardrop, but the leaves from the first year mullein, I'll harvest and I will dry. It's super fluffy. But I'll add this into teas. I will add it into, gosh, pretty much anything. I've chopped up the fresh mullein and added into a honey to do like a mullein infused honey. I have tinctured it. But what this plant does is it will help cool the lungs. So if you might be experiencing, you know, a little bit of gunk in your chest, it's an expectorant, you know, so it's going to help the deep down, get the gross stuff out. You can do it in multiple different ways, a tea, tincture, but one of the other ways that I've done it is by smoking it, and it's surprisingly very cooling. Now, every herb that I talk about today, no matter what, it's very important for you to do your own research, because not every herb is right for every individual. And I do feel like this is a good way for you to become your own herbalist. I talk a lot about it in my home apothecary course, but even more so in my book that is doing very well, which is the Beekeeper's Apothecary. And if you are new here, I will just share, this is the book that I wrote that just came out this past August, and we are already in second print, but it's like well over 400 pages, a lot of my recipes, a lot of information. It's beautiful, but that I will make sure to put the link in the description as well if you guys are interested in taking home a little piece of the Beekeeper's Apothecary, which is my heart. And it still has not hit that that it's out, which still blows me away. But I bought this little, I don't even know what it is. I bought this little, I want to say it's kind of like an incense burner at a thrift store for, I think I maybe spent like $4 or $5 on it. It's so super cute, and I'm like, you know, this might be exactly a perfect way for somebody who does not, you know, smoke Mullein. But I wanted to see if this is gonna work. So if it doesn't work, we're just gonna like put it aside. If it does work, how cool is that? I have a lighter, but I wanted to use matches. I just don't know where they're at the moment. And so we're gonna see if this works, because if it does, how cool would that be? But I figured this is just another way to use the herbs. So the benefit from smoking, from breathing in a little bit of the smoke, is it is very cooling. I do think that this would work really well if I had a better lighter. But I wanted to show you just another way to use the herbs. Now, when I woke up this morning, I did my honey, I took my mushrooms, I did my sinus tapping, and I also did my chest clapping. So working with the lymphatic system. I mean, I wish I would have probably filmed first thing this morning, because I was very swollen in my face, and I could just feel, you know, like when your teeth start to hurt. That is kind of how I felt this morning. So I got up, I did my lymphatic and my sinus tapping, I did my chest, I did like a whole massage, you know, to move the lymphs. And then it took me about 30 minutes to feel a little bit better, to kind of come up and spend my day up here. But I did feel just some heaviness in my chest, and while the reishi mushroom has been wonderful for helping like the oxygen intake, I wanted to go ahead and just breathe in a little bit of mullein, just because I could feel that it was warm air. I know that about myself, you know, when I'm feeling like I'm coming down with something, two things happen. My back starts to hurt, and I feel like I'm breathing in hot air. This is very cooling, and it has been very helpful. And so if you don't do a pipe, or if you don't smoke, or in that sense, this could be an alternative. And I do think it works, but I would need a little bit of a better lighter. So Mullein for the respiratory has been really, really helpful. Now the next thing that we're gonna share is one of my favorite recipes, which is our fire cider that we made up at one of my last workshops that we had here in the apothecary. It was our herbal first aid workshop. So I host workshops on our farm like every other month. I keep them very small, very intentional. I have 2 more coming up for the 2025 season, which is crazy. And I'm gonna start kind of getting my schedule together for the 2026 season year. So you'll probably see some workshops coming up on my website, but this turned out to be absolutely beautiful. And this is something that I very much am going to do. So today, literally feeling like I'm gonna throw the kitchen sink at myself, but a fire cider is considered an oxymel. And an oxymel is a combination of that sweet from honey and the apple cider vinegar that's pulling out the medicinal properties for the things that you are doing. So this is super warming. It's also really boosting your immune system. I mean, it's packed full of vitamin C, antimicrobials, the heat, the horseradish. It is not always for the faint-hearted. In fact, my mom and I have many videos that we've put together when we're making our traditional fire cider, which is Winter Moon. It has a lot of cranberry in it. And this is one that we did earlier this year. But we wanted to play around with a few different recipes, and I will put this one together and be sharing it in our community. I do my fire cider a little bit different. I actually don't add my honey into it right away. The reason why is because I feel like a lot of people in my family, some like it a little bit more vinegary versus some who might like it a little bit sweeter. And since honey is such a treasured, it's treasured here, I tend to keep it separate just in case if I will not go through this entire batch. I would hate to waste that much honey. So I keep my honey separate. This is not done quite yet. It needs to sit for a little bit longer, but I love how you can see the garlic right here. So it's turning blue because the sulfur that is in the garlic is reacting. So that's actually a really cool picture. But after it's done, after I let it sit for about a month, I will strain it out. I'll use like a big cheese press to strain it out. And then I store it in amber colored bottles. I like to keep mine in the refrigerator. And how I take it is I just pour a little bit in a cup. It is a little bit horseradishy, and there you go. I'm only doing just a little bit. I probably could do a little bit more, in all honesty. And then I love to add my honey into it. Now I will do this a couple of times a day, in all honesty. I really will, especially if I'm coming down with something. I don't know if this is coming down with something or if it's probably just a little bit of allergies, which actually I should have used my goldenrod infused honey. Which I think I did a video on that, and I'll make sure to put that above. But harvesting goldenrod is wonderful for allergies, and I probably should have done that, but I didn't, so it's okay. You live, you learn. But then I stir my honey into my fire cider. I always leave a little bit on the spoon as a chaser. And then bottoms up. The sweeter it is, the sweeter it is, the better the bite. But licking the honey off does help as well. I'll take my fire cider you know, up to 2 times a day. And it puts a little hair on the chest. It's got a little heat to it, but it does taste really good. And it will definitely help clear you out with the horseradish. But this one's not quite done yet. I'm gonna store it back underneath of my cabinet for another couple of weeks, and then plan on straining that out. But I do have multiple fire cider videos out, and if you have a freeze dryer, I have also taken all of the scraps after straining it out, and I've actually freeze dried all of that and turned that into a powder and made capsules with it. There's a whole bunch of videos that I've done. I mean, I feel like I've been sharing for many years, so there's an abundance. And if you want to go back and watch them, like, I will. We've had quite a few laughs over the years. Now, the next thing that I'm gonna do is tonight which I'm not gonna take the camera with me on this, but something else that I do, which sounds a little funny, but it actually works really well. Last night I slept and I was a little bit cold, and so tonight I plan on taking a bath, and I plan on putting ginger in my bathtub. I have some powdered ginger, and I will sprinkle it into my bathtub. I tell you, for me, like, I've had to do that a couple of times. Like, if I feel like, you know, you get that bone chilling cold, I'll put a little bit of that in my bathtub. Just a little bit though, especially if you're a lady. It's not gonna be, not always the most fun, but putting a little bit of ginger in your hot bath has very much helped kind of heat me up. And then if I am fighting a little something, like, it will help break that. And while I'm in the bath, I will make a really good cup of tea this evening, and it's more than likely going to have some chamomile. It's probably going to have a little elderflower. It's probably going to have just a bit of echinacea, and let's see, what else could I put in there that's going to be good? Maybe some linden, add a little bit of passion flower into it. You know, so that's something that the chamomile is going to help with sleep. So is the passion flower. And the elderflower is going to be really good if I do start feeling like I have a little bit of a fever. And so these are just a few herbal remedies that I do like to go to, you know, when I'm starting to not feel my best, whether it is a cold or more than likely just a little bit of sinus stuff from all of the seasonal change and the leaves and the wet and all the pollen. But this is something that I can take. This is something that I can use. And these are the different ways that I, you know, like to incorporate the herbs. I'm also going to make a really good soup tonight, probably some Italian wedding soup. And I wanted to make sure to put this together just in case if any of you are feeling a little bit like I am this morning. Hopefully we caught it before it goes into anything else, but this is what I have to offer. So as always, don't be afraid to get your hands dirty and learn something old. Bye guys.